everybody, Janae here. Sorry, needed to make a little bit of a shift. So today is me starting something new. I am going to, in addition to doing videos on books and books that I enjoy and books that I don't enjoy, whatever, I'm going to start filming these videos with my thoughts on certain things. So my thoughts on love, my thoughts on happiness, my thoughts on whatever. And it just so happens that my first video on this is coming out on January 1st, and it is, as you can see from the title of this, my thoughts on making life changes. And it's ironic because I don't mean this in the way of making resolutions, and I know that's a very popular thing to do in January or right before January 1st, so that you know kind of where you want your life to go and where you want it to take you. And it just kind of happened that this video is coming out on January 1st, but here it is, and I'm very happy to give it to you. So I also want to be clear though, I don't look down on anybody who does make New Year's resolutions. One, I think it's incredibly important to be self-aware about the areas in your life that you want to change, that you want to make better, that you want to do different, whatever. It is so important to be aware of that. And that's the first part of making a resolution. It's also so important to know exactly what change you want to make. Do you want to lose 15 pounds? Do you want to stop being so easily irritable? I would like to do both of those things and more. Like, what is it that you want to change? And like, how do you want to change it? Like, I think there's something so powerful in that. And I think the reason people get so down on resolutions is because they aren't always followed up on. But in my mind, knowing that you need to make a change, that you want to better or enhance yourself in some way, that is so important. I will never look down for anybody on them. Now, if you want to go about turning those resolutions into life changes, here's just my thoughts on it. I am not a professional, but I am somebody who has made lots of changes in her life, and is looking forward to making more of them and really thinking about what that means. And so, sorry if I keep looking down. I have some notes to keep me on track because I tend to ramble. If you have seen any of my book videos, you know this. So I essentially want to make this video relatively quick, and I just want to talk. I think there are 3 main steps to making life changes and making those sustainable life changes. The first one being is thinking about what you want to improve on and why. Some people call this clarity. Some people call this purpose. You know, whatever you want to call it, what is the change you want to make and why? Like, really knowing that and understanding that there will always be self-doubt. There will always be insecurity. There will always be obstacles. There will always be hurdles. And so your why, your purpose, like the reason you want to make this change, has to be strong enough to overcome all of that stuff. It has to be strong enough to overcome your self-doubt. It has to be strong enough to overcome the stories that you tell yourself about whether you're a failure or not, or whether you're a success or not, based on something that you've done. It has to be stronger than that. And so really think about what change you want to make, but also put a lot of thought into why you want to make that change. Why? I'm telling you, as someone, I've made resolutions. I've wanted to make changes in my life, but until the reason for me making that change was stronger than my self-doubt, it never happened. And so I just want to like be very clear about that. The second step, and this is super important to me, is to make a decision to change. And decision here isn't like, I'm not saying like decide that you want to lose 10 pounds. That's easy. That's the first part. But making the decision to change to me means making that decision with no qualifications. I am going to stop eating processed food. Period. I mean, and of course, if you want to eat Oreos every now and then, fine. You know, but be clear about that. But not, I'm going to do this thing on Monday, or I'm going to do this thing, you know, when this area of my life is better. Don't put the time limits on it. I think that's another reason that people get so down on resolutions. It's like, why should you wait until January 1st to make yourself a better person? That part I happen to agree with. If you want to make a change, it might take some planning. I'm not saying you're going to be able to do it right then, but you need to make that decision and like do what you can to make that change. If I say right now, I am making the decision that I want to lose 15 pounds. Losing weight is just an easy grab for making life changes, but it's not the only life change you can make. Actually, let me go with something a little bit different. If I want to say right now that I want to stop being so irritable and so easily annoyed with things that happen in my life, that's not going to happen overnight. But what does happen is that I tell myself I'm going to figure out why this is happening and stop it from happening, or prevent it in some way, or lessen it, or mitigate it, or something. I have to then go about and make the decision to set about doing the work that causes that life change to happen. I can't just say, I decide I'm going to be less irritable and that I'm just going to be less irritable. It doesn't work that way. And I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I don't want to make this sound like it's easy. You know, these things are hard. Making that decision is hard. If this was easy, you would have done it a long time ago. Period. If making some of the changes in my life that I want to make, if they were easy changes to make, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about them. I'd be talking about something else because I would have done it already. I'm like simplifying this down to 3 steps, and I'm not trying to make it sound easy. I'm trying to make it sound doable, because those are very different things. If you have something that you want to do, work towards that. Like, make a decision that that's how it's going to be, and then work towards it. That is so important. The third step for me is to celebrate even your little successes, even the little steps that you make along the way, because a step is a step. If your life changes, I'm never going to eat processed food again. Every week that you go without eating processed food is a cause for celebration. And then also, like 3B or 3A, I guess, is to not dwell on your setbacks. If you've gone 5 weeks without eating processed food and then you slip up and eat some Oreos and a Pop-Tart, fine. Like, yes, that's not in keeping with your plan. But don't sit there, because when you sit there, you'll sit there, and that decision that you made to change is going to be weakened because you've decided that you're a failure. And I have another video coming on failure soon. But you've decided that you're a failure, and that's how you're going to treat yourself. Don't do that. What has happened has happened, and now we have to move on. If you ate some Oreos and a Pop-Tart, okay, you ate some Oreos and a Pop-Tart, and now you can move forward and not do that thing, and you can continue celebrating every week or every day or every hour, whatever makes sense for you, that you don't eat processed food. You can continue celebrating that without wallowing in the setback that you had. So yeah, those are my 3 main steps. So my thoughts on making life changes, what really has to happen, really knowing what you want to change and know why you want to change it, and making the decision to change it, and then celebrating the success that you have in changing and not wallowing in your setbacks. So I'm just interested. This is my first video that I'm doing like this. Did any of this resonate with any of you? Do you disagree? Do you have you had different experiences? I'm really interested in learning how other people go about making life changes for themselves, and what are your steps? How do you hold yourself accountable? It's hard when you're the only one doing something or making a specific change. And so I also guess I should have said this. I do think it's important to find people who will support you. But it's not impossible to do without people who will support you. I know that there are a lot of people who don't have that support system, and it is not impossible for you to make a life change. It might be even more difficult, but that might be more rewarding for you on the other end of it. And so I'm saying all this to like encourage you. I'm speaking to myself, you know, I'm speaking things into existence, that the life changes that I want to make, I will, you know them. I will know why I want to make them. I will make a decision to actually make those changes, and I will celebrate the success that I have along the way. Hopefully I'll take you all on that journey with me. But I also just, if this is the only video of mine you ever watch, I hope that you feel empowered to make changes for your life, and to do it, and to celebrate it, and to be consistent. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really happy to start doing this series, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.